attitude is how you live your life. But let's talk about expectations for a second. Because I talked about how setting the right expectations. And you think about what an expectation is. I looked it up, and I think expectations are prejudgments that we place on one another. And typically can limit your potential. Now, personally, my expectations were that I was not going to let this change my life. That I was going to be the same kid as I was before. And according to everyone else's expectations, I wanted to exceed them. Whatever expectations they had on me, I wanted to go beyond them. I'll give you an example. My teacher, while I was in the hospital, I had about 3 or 4 of my teachers come in, and my principal too. And they came in and talked to my parents and said, you know, your son was left-handed and now he's right-handed. He's probably going to need a laptop for school, and we're going to get note takers for him, and people will take care of him. And now, while I was in the hospital, after hearing that, and after hearing them say that they never thought I was going to be able to write again, I immediately picked up a pencil and tried writing everything I could. And my mom's birthday happened while I was in the hospital, actually, and we celebrated in there in the little fun room. And I wrote on her card, you know, happy birthday, love you, Mom, even though it looked like just jibber jabber, but I tried. And that was the start to me going beyond someone's expectations and what they thought I was going to be capable of. Now, you all know Michael Jordan, and everybody looks up to MJ. He's the man. And he has a quote, one of my favorite quotes. He says, if you accept the expectations of others, especially the negative ones, think about that, then you never change the outcome. You'll never change the outcome. If you accept the expectations of others, especially the negative ones, you will never change your outcome. And it makes sense if you think about it. If someone says, oh, John over there, he's never going to be able to get up on that wakeboard. And he's like, oh, really? I'm never going to be able to do that? He never tries. The outcome was predicted. They just told him what he's going to be capable of. Expectations are yours to set, no one else's. Do not let anyone else set expectations on you, and if they do, go beyond them and set your own expectations.
A 14-year-old Raleigh boy thought he would never enjoy his favorite sport after a boating accident. Well, as WRAL's Fred Taylor reports, the teenager is hitting the waves 1 year later. All right, we ought to be ready.
A lot of people will head to the water this holiday weekend.
Logan, you getting your jacket?
But trips to the lake are special for this Raleigh family. They're back at Lake Gaston a year after their 14-year-old son, Logan, lost an arm in a boating accident.
And once it got amputated, I thought, I'm going to be like this until I die, and it was just something hard.
A year later, Logan is over that fear. With his mother at the wheel, it's just like old times.
You'll see him fall today. It's a hard fall, too.
But as a parent who was there during an accident, you fought yourself so much for it. But to have a child who never did he complain about his inabilities or get frustrated or say, why me?
Logan spends as much time as he can on the water practicing wakeboarding. He's to enter the competition in a couple of weeks. As for surfboarding, this is just for fun. The challenge of surfing without the big waves pretty much describes Logan's new attitude about life.
Anything you set your mind to, you can do it.
Fred Taylor, WRAL News, Lake Gaston.
And beating the odds, a remarkable teenager overcomes a bizarre accident and is pushing himself to accomplish extraordinary things. Today's Saturday, July 29th, 2006.
Never say never. That's what a teenager in North Carolina has been telling himself ever since he had an accident on the water and it changed his life. Today he'll compete in Orlando at the Extremity Games. Ken Llewellyn from our NBC station in Raleigh shows us how this young man's remarkable recovery is getting national attention.
People often use a single word to describe Logan Aldridge: incredible. Not because he wakeboards so well with one arm, this trick is called a rodeo, but because he's so willing to try.
I wanted to get back out to make sure that I could do it like I could do everything else, and I could.
2 years ago, Logan's left arm was amputated after a freak accident on the water. A rope he was holding got caught in a propeller. Just 14 at the time, he forced himself to relearn basic skills, tying his shoes, closing a shirt, writing. Logan was left-handed.
First month of school, I used the laptop, and I didn't want to use it anymore, so I just started writing, and nobody thought I would be able to do it, and now I write better with my right hand probably than I do with my left.
He didn't stop at the basics. Logan was determined to keep playing lacrosse. This year, he scored more than 50 goals for Raleigh's Ravenscroft High School, earning him a feature in U.S. Lacrosse magazine.
Everybody sees it as a two-handed sport, and I didn't have, like, anybody else to look at, you know?
Nobody had ever done this before.
Correct. Or nobody that I knew about.
Logan thinks of life not in terms of a disability, but of his ability. A year after his accident, he realized he still has the ability to ride the waves. It's a physical and mental triumph he now speaks about publicly as a motivational speaker to adults and children. Remember, he's only 15.
I landed a backflip that I'd never done with two arms before, and that was just like a big reward to me. I felt like I had totally overcome everything.
People magazine noticed too, writing about him and his friend Hawaiian surfer Bethany Hamilton, who lost her arm after being bitten by a shark.
You're a celebrity.
Disagree.
Not a celebrity.
So far, yeah.
What are you then?
Just a teenage guy. Just look around and think about what life would be like if you sat there and complained, and then think about what it would be like if you made a change.
Logan Aldridge still falls, but he always gets back up. Ken Lou Allen for NBC News in Raleigh, North Carolina.
What an amazing young man. Bueno, following today's competition, Logan plans to continue his speaking engagements, and he tells us work on his golf game. And we're back in just a moment, but first, this is Today on NBC.
Thank you, Wes. Well, today I had a chance to visit the Rotary Club of Raleigh to introduce an inspiring young man who every day lives his motto of going beyond expectations. Logan Aldridge may be only 16 years old, but he has the wisdom of someone much older. Instead of letting a traumatic wakeboarding accident slow him down, he's now reaching out to other young people who have suffered similar losses. Logan Aldridge plays golf with the same intensity he approaches every other aspect of his life.
There's no difference. It's just me playing golf with some friends.
That this 16-year-old left-hander lost his left arm in a boating accident nearly 3 years ago is not something he plans to let hold him back. Not on the golf course, not anywhere.
It's not like, oh, I have one arm, I'm not going to be able to hit it as far as they did. I better, crank on the ball or something. It's just me having fun with my friends.
Logan says he refuses to be limited by expectations, whether in his continued passion for wakeboarding or in simply being a teenager, a normal 10th grader at Ravenscroft.
I just wanted to prove to myself and to all my friends that I was the same kid. I was going to be the same person. They didn't have to cope for my loss, and they didn't have to mourn over me or feel sorry. I was going to be the same person.
It's a message Logan wants to carry to other young people facing serious injury with a foundation he's creating called Beyond Expectations.
First thing to do was to get out and start writing the alphabet with my right hand, which at first you couldn't really read anything, but with practice it got looking like my left hand.
Logan faced a receptive audience at the Rotary Club of Raleigh.
We would love to have a young man like him as a member someday, being a fellow Rotarian.
For now, Logan is doing all the things teenagers do. He just got his driver's license, but this 16-year-old plans on making a difference, teaching all of us how to go beyond expectations.
There's nothing more rewarding than that, than being able to help other people understand, the values of everything that we have.
Nothing like training to putt either. Well, if you'd like to find out more information on Logan's foundation, Beyond Expectations, or for a speaking engagement, you can just go to our website, NBC17.com, keyword news.
He is really an inspiration for people who have any sort of challenges.
You spend 2 minutes in his company and you say, boy, I hope when my children are 16, they speak like this kid.
Yeah.
Just great.
And a good golfer.